A beautiful Thursday morning to you, and of course, welcome to Ways Breakfast, hashtag What Are You Saying? This is the platform for the informed, the curious, and passionate person. So if this is you, join this conversation and other amazing discussions that we have here. You can tune in every Monday morning to Friday as we explore pressing discussions, public perspective, and inspiring stories right here on Ways Breakfast. I'm your one and only Okikiola Taiwo Jalukmo, and I welcome you to the show this morning. I'm also grateful and glad to be here alongside my queens, Oluchi Precious Omenka and God's Beauty Israel. We also brought an extra spice to the show this morning. So guess who it is? It is Triumph. Did you hear that name? Did you hear that name? Triumph. What was that song? No. I don't even know. I think your mind. When did you tell me to you have to start reading? Well, I've been on this table for too long for you not to be able to tell what is in the inside of me.
I think I have an idea.
Sing it.
I'm
very sure that it's nothing clear. But it's all right.
Triumph, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Good morning.
Good morning. How do you feel to be here?
I feel so great. It feels so good to be here. To see that, people are listening to me, are seeing me. So it's so good to be here. It's so good to be with Oluchi, God's Beauty, and Okikiola.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm glad, honestly.
glad to have
Wonderful.
you too.
Yeah,
Don't calm down. Don't show your true self on this table. But this morning, I'm going to be tasking you to certain things that you should do. As always, I always like the conversation to be as personal as...
At this point, I'm already scared whenever you're on this seat. You always come with some...
Oh my God.
What do you
But
have?
let me start with the first question. What's that one self-care routine that you do every morning that you never miss? Let me start with Triumph.
Okay. Brush my teeth.
It is self-care,
Honestly, self-care.
but you've never missed it.
No.
Confession. I've missed a brush before.
I mean,
You've never missed.
maybe I don't know. Maybe while I was much younger, or maybe something happened to me. I don't know. But
Can never be cut off.
actually, I shouldn't be.
Okay, what about you, Oluchi?
Skincare. I must wash my face and apply sunscreen.
You never miss it.
Except I'm indoor and there's no...
You never miss it.
Except I'm indoor and... When I'm stepping out, I have to.
Okay, what about you, God's Beauty?
I think maybe, I think skincare too. Because I'm always rubbing my cream and all of that. I think that during the weekend, my girlfriend had to complain that why exactly for every time I enter the restroom and I'm coming out, I'm rubbing something in my body. I think that's something I'm already used to. So yeah, that would be.
So I think that we have spoken very physically about most of the things that we don't miss. But mine is quite different. What I don't miss is to urinate in the morning when I wake up.
Oh my God.
That is
True,
self-care
that's
because you have slept through the
self-care.
night and there's a lot of toxins that have accumulated in your body. And the importance to urinate, some people
Very
don't know
true.
that you have to urinate. So I decided I was going to ask because most of the time we get lost thinking about the physical, but now what happens internally? What are those self-care things that we need to do internally? But basically, that's why we're having this conversation today. So you should start thinking about all the things I'm going to ask you.
And we're going to ask you too.
Ask me now. Answer. Well, as you know, we also want to hear from you. So share your thoughts with us on all our social media handles, from Instagram to TikTok to YouTube to X and Facebook. Just share it with us. What's that one self-care routine that you never miss, both internally and physically? Right now, we'll go on a break, and of course, we'll return to take you through the top stories across the globe. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Sure, great to have you back from that break. Now let's take a look at the news from the pages of today's newspaper. We would be highlighting the top stories from The Punch, The Guardian, and of course the international paper. God's Beauty is everly ready to take us abroad and back, so I'm going to pass the baton to God's Beauty.
All right, straight into the South China Morning Post. At the top left, we have Hong Kong Post counts the cost. Next to that, breaking through the glass ceiling. And next to that as well, we have Mega Dam has pluses, minuses. All right, beneath that, we have 18 arrested over forged document to obtain resident. Dominating the headline, we have court orders law on public toilet used to be struck down. And bottom of the newspaper, we have stakes high but expectations low as EU leaders prepare for Beijing talks. So, first of all, I think I've first highlighted the fact that we already know what's going on between China and the European Union. I mean, as at the time where we had Trump, become the, the president of the United States, we were thinking that probably things would become, fair or better. But I would say that it made it worse because, I mean, looking at the, the tariff, fraction that we've had over time, even though it's a bit more settled now, but there's still that, tension between China and, some other countries, especially it stands on Russia and all of that. But I just hope that that's resolved, given that, the summit is today. So hopefully, something positive or a good result we'll get from the summit. So away from that, I would, let me also talk about the headline that's dominating today, which is court orders law on public toilets used to be struck down. So in details, we have here a Hong Kong judge has partially upheld a transgender man's legal challenge against a ban on people using some public toilets for the opposite sex, ruling that the regulation must be struck down to respect the sexual minority groups' equality and privacy rights. Now, in a landmark ruling on Wednesday, the High Court upheld an anonymous litigants claim that the government violated its constitutional duty to safeguard residents' fundamental rights by criminalizing the misuse of public restrooms managed by the Food Environmental Hygiene Department at the expense of transgender. So you know how we feel about transgender, right? And I mean, there's this public toilet, just as it goes, public toilet that anybody can actually use. But then you now see transgender, transgender men, that's, women that turn themselves to be men. They now use, bathroom that they are not supposed to use. Do you understand? And now the judge is saying that this kind of things is not what we are supposed to be seeing. So he's now, calling for the struck down of that particular, public toilet. But now there's now that part of, oh, you don't want them to use toilet, more like, what's that word, violating their human rights. So at this point, there's more like we need a balance at this point. I think I think what I would say a solution should be, instead of telling them to bring down the, the restrooms, right? I would say they should probably create another one where transgender males and females can actually use. I don't know if you get, but it's quite a funny one. I would like you guys' thought on that. But then I also wanted to highlight this other headline, which is 18 arrested over forged document to obtain residency. So does this time we talk about, the academic credentials of the Chinese students and how, how well they did. But unfortunately, the news that we are hearing is that most of them actually forged their certificate. Going back to that story we took one time, I think in Abuja, where some parents have to, pay in. So I think that's exactly what's going on here. And it's quite a sad one, honestly, because exactly, because I remember when we were talking about it and I was saying, I see how the good grades. I was almost saying thanks to technology, that's the reason why they got this grade. But that's literally what the headline was reading at that time. So now that we're not hearing updates that, oh, because of, some of them had to forge certain, credentials and all of that, that's why they are able to. And the reason why they are doing that is so that they're able to get pass marks to be able to study probably in the United States or even in, other countries aside China. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today at the South China Morning Post. It's quite a roller coaster. I mean, at some points there's one to laugh about, and there's now one saying, no more, this is really crazy, but it is what it is, really. So what do you guys think about the stories I've highlighted?
I like the fact that, humanity are the same everywhere. Mm-hmm. That it's not just Nigeria.
Right.
You get to other parts of the country and just the same thing. You find it in other parts of the country. So, for example, that China now, one would actually expect that they are doing it themselves or they are doing it so well. And then you in Nigeria, you're comparing yourself to them, thinking that something is wrong with you. Meanwhile, there's nothing wrong with you.
Or maybe you
just don't have access, or maybe something is wrong with all of us, honestly. So that is something that is quite...
I feel like I need to comment on this transgender thing, and I've said it over and over again that I only know man and woman according to the Bible. I don't know anything else. So if the people that are transgendering think that they have violated their human rights, so therefore they can fight for it. No, they can fight for it. What I'm trying to say is that I plead the fifth when it comes to this conversation. I just want to stay where I am not there. I'm neither dead or anywhere else. I just don't want to be part of the conversation. I think Trump issue will always be a very controversial one.
Yeah.
Because I've spoken to some people who are currently even in the United Kingdom, and they've spoken about how, if we really want to be honest, that some of the rules and some of these policies and laws that they are bringing into place, it's actually because their citizens are suffering for some of the things that they have done in the past, like immigration, like bringing other people to take their jobs. Just the way we are complaining about robots going to take over someone else's job. It was more like a human conversion at that time, where the whites who were supposed to be getting this job were taken over by black people, and now these people are trying to now start to tell their citizens, you know, we're going to put stricter rules so that this is still open for you. As a citizen, you still have the right to do that. So when I was speaking to them, I was like, a lot of people are complaining that this is too strict, this is too that. But the people who are actually indigents of that state or of that country actually like what is happening, because they're now starting to see that, okay, this government care about us. So we might be complaining that Trump tariff here and there is affecting this, is affecting that. But if we had maybe a correspondent in the United States who was talking directly to the indigents of this place, they might tell you that they are very good and fine with what's going on. So it's never a win-win situation for everyone. There's always a demographic that's always affected by whatever law, whatever policy that is being brought by any country in the world. So I think that's going to be my stance when it comes to the Trump issue. No, the Trump issue. Transgender, I know the Trump issue. I've given. Oluchi, do you have something to say, or you would like Triumph to go into our paper?
Let Triumph go into our paper.
Right, so let us check the stories making headlines in the Guardian News. Allow Tinubu to complete second term. Ohanaeze tells Obi Lagos food economy it's 6.14 trillion naira from 6.5 trillion naira yearly. This is coming from Sanwo-Olu. And it was also in the story that Nigeria targets 100% local crude refining. Port inefficiencies, corruption spike inflation, logistics costs by 40%. It was also in the headline that police bust armed syndicates linked to Benue killings. And Onosoya says he has been vindicated as court strikes out loan controversy case. Now, let us look at, the top headline, which is 43% spike in tax revenues pause for fiscal recovery, deficits cut. It has also been stated this morning, that Tinubu APC leaders converge on Villa as NEC tackles crucial issues. Okay, so if there is something that I would love to talk about is about Nigeria targets 100% local crude refining. Now, this is one story that I get, I don't want to say that I get tired of talking about, because we have to talk about it every time. Since, while growing up, you always hear the Nigerian government talk about the fact that we want to go 100% local crude refining. And now it's coming out again. How do we know if it is going to happen? Something that did not happen years before, something that did not happen a few years ago. How are we sure that this is not just another way to just bamboozle us, if that is going to be great to say? So it says, the news says that Nigeria has announced its intention to refine its crude oil locally as part of wider effort to stimulate double-digit economic growth and deepen regional energy integration. And this move comes as the ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, they formalized plans to establish a globally benchmark trading hub for refined fuels across West Africa. So I honestly, I don't know if I should trust it. I don't know, maybe you have a different opinion. But whenever I see this kind of news, I don't want to believe. But at the same time, I always want to put hopes in Nigeria. But I don't know if it's like that for you.
I think it's the same thing for me. We every morning on this table is that general laugh. Every morning on this table, it's always one story, us ending it with the full banter or that one day Nigeria goes survive, Africa goes survive.
To be honest.
So yes, let's assume once again that something is going to happen.
Something is going to happen this time around.
Power to Nigeria.
And then we are going to be back to talk about it if it actually happens.
Power
or if
to
we are
the
going
people.
to meet it on the headline again.
Power to Nigeria.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's just like this refinery thing that we keep hearing, right? You know, there was a time we read, was it earlier last year, about the Port Harcourt refinery and so many other refineries that, you know, kick-started and all. Right now, some of them are not functioning. And I think was it Bayo that, I don't know who exactly, you know, works with the NNPC or so, but I know I read that news somewhere, where it was saying that at this point, you know, they're thinking of either selling or something. So back of my head, I'm like, we keep talking about these things, and it's more like we're actually not going anywhere.
Don't worry, it's coming back. God's
I don't
will
know.
just relax. The Port Harcourt,
We are here.
everything is coming back.
I believe
Yes,
that, actually.
please, could you take us through the Punch newspaper?
Wow, so the Punch has really interesting stories, and I think I'll just pick one and highlight it, and that's on the tariff battle escalates, because I spoke about this story earlier this week, so it's a good follow-up. Discourse reject review talks with states. You know, earlier this week we saw the initiative from the Enugu Electricity Regulatory Commission to slash the tariff for Band A, and the essence of it was, I think they were just going with the Electricity Act of 2023 that gives the states the power, you know, to control the electricity rules and everything. And so they took it a step further to slash it. But now the problem is that these regulators, that is the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, are letting us in that this is going to cause more harm than good. Do you get it? Like, because the whole essence of even slashing it to make it better was to reduce the burden on the citizens of that state. And many other states took the initiative after Enugu State. I think we saw Plateau and a number of other states. And now they've come out to say that we cannot continue like this, because if we do, we're going to be putting a strain. Just imagine that it costs this much to actually cost something to run. And then you want to now slash it because you want people to be able to afford it. At the end of the day, they afford that first one. How do you know they are going to even have the next one to even pay for? So I think, like I said on Monday, or when we discussed this particular news, that we need to see these bodies come to a consensus. We need to have people, you know, have that roundtable discussion, so that at the end of the day, because one thing with fights like this with regulators and different commissions is that it's the consumers that suffer it at the end of the day. It starts as though the consumers are the ones to benefit if we have a suitable price in that sense. And we are happy about it. I'm personally happy. Imagine having to pay 160 from 209. It seems good. But I can tell you that if we do not really monitor the story, in 2 months to come, we might be paying 300. So at this point, we don't want, I know the states now have the Electricity Act making them be in charge of regulation and determining how electricity cost is in their country or in their particular state, but they cannot take away the fact that these regulators have been there longer. They understand how this thing works. They understand the implication of certain, you know, decision. So I'm hoping that this story comes to a proper consensus. And let's not just be too happy that, you know, tariff has reduced in some areas. It could really backfire in ways that we have not imagined. And I think that's just the story I
think
want
my
to talk
conclusion
of.
would be that you have rightly said it, that there should be a roundtable conversation
Yes.
as regards this tariff issue. I said it with the petrol issue, where one day we are buying at 809, the next day 1,000, another day 900. So let's just fix our mind somewhere and say that with subsidy removed, with this in place, with that in place, this is how much that's going to cost us to buy something. It sort of helps people to plan ahead and gives them stability. So if the economy is shaky, of course, humans, you know, businesses and everything will be the same way. But basically, that's all we'll have on the international and Nigerian newspaper today. We'll go on a break and, of course, come back with our hot topic for today. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Welcome back to the show. Well, today's conversation is about self-care, like we mentioned earlier. We're discussing how this vital component can reduce healthcare pressure in Nigeria especially. And our topic for today is self-care, a key to reducing healthcare pressure in Nigeria. Self-care is a vital component in reducing healthcare pressure, especially for a country like Nigeria. And by definition, self-care is the ability of individuals, families, and communities to promote and maintain their own health, prevent disease, and cope with illness with or without the support of a healthcare worker. Experts emphasize that self-care interventions offer practical, cost-effective solutions that can significantly improve health outcomes, especially in a country as diverse and complex as Nigeria. It's always funny when people talk about how Nigeria is termed complex, and I believe that if you really look at it, it is complex. Our mental health self is a very complex one, but some of the benefits of self-care are obviously endless. First, it reduces the pressure on healthcare facilities. By taking care of our health, we can reduce the burden on healthcare systems. It also supports health equity and autonomy. Imagine if you are very conscious of yourself, and then this can now promote autonomy, awareness, and informed decision-making, especially in marginalized populations where either healthcare systems are far to reach or don't even exist in this space. And people don't know it, but self-care is very, very cost-effective. Self-care interventions reduce out-of-pocket costs, time burdens, and indirect costs for us as persons. If you take care of yourself, imagine that I know some people boast of saying that they don't get sick in 4 or 5 years, and that's never been to the hospital. So I think I want to get to that point in life, but I've not reached here, and then that's why we're having this conversation. Health literacy is also very important, because if you take self-care seriously, it can enhance health literacy, enabling us to make informed decisions about our health. And some people will ask that what kind of examples of self-care intervention are there. So first, self-awareness. You can educate yourself about health and wellness. You can also do self-testing. Self-testing is so important. Use self-testing kits for conditions like diabetes or HIV. I think nowadays a self-test kit for malaria, so it's easy to do that at home rather than go to the hospital. And if you can't test for malaria or HIV or diabetes, it saves the money of paying at a healthcare system and then just getting treatment immediately. You can also start with self-management, monitoring and managing one's health conditions. You know that when you go into an area that is dusty, you sneeze. So what can you do to avoid that? These are part of the things that you can do for self-care. Mental health support is also very important. It has become a very common thing in Nigeria that everybody talks about their mental health. So accessing mental health resources like counseling service, like Oluchi would give you free counseling services, or mental awareness apps. And she's giving me the side eye. Also, you can engage in regular exercises like walking, jogging, dancing. All of these are self-care routines, and the Nigerian government has also done something when it comes to this. The Nigerian government has launched a national guideline of self-care to improve sexual reproductive health, to improve maternal health. Experts recommend integrating self-care into national health strategies to reduce pressure on healthcare facilities and improve access for individuals. Of course, so many things can happen when it comes to self-care. You can't do many things from it, but I'll first take this straight to the table at this point. I think I've said too much. Have I?
Yes.
No, I think you've just said enough.
Hey,
too much.
that enough.
I think
They
we
say,
need
make they
people.
go house. I don't to talk. They go house. Anyways, I actually had to highlight this because we could get lost talking personally about ourselves and the importance of our own self-care routine, but then take out that there's so many angles to it. For some reasons, I didn't know that self-care had to do with even self-testing. I just thought that if I want to do it, I'm going to be... The thought of pricking myself to get tested, the fear is there, not talk about injection. So having to go all the way to the hospital to get it done, now I think it's free in a lot of hospitals, but going to the hospital to get it done, that fear of people might find out that it's either positive or something is wrong, diabetes and all. But it brings me to see that self-care is just beyond brushing your teeth, waking up in the morning, doing skincare. It's also what happens internally. Is my kidneys all right? Is my breathing perfect? We've had an Keme, if I remember, tell us about breathing, how breathing is very important, and he gave us it's not just there's a process to it, and that made me realize that I might have been getting self-care wrong, my entire life. I just thought that you have to buy the perfect cream, the perfect this, and then the outward appearance would, over time, affect what happens internally. So that's one myth that was in my head over time, that it's just about the physical thing. So let me just throw it to you. What's that one myth about self-care that you thought was normal, or that you didn't know existed, but now you are now seeing that, and you're now starting to question yourself?
I think firstly for me is self-care. The way the word even sounds, it sounds very touche. So it's given for the rich. It wasn't something that I thought, oh, everybody should just have access to. Let me be very honest. I used to think self-care is just what beautiful girls engage in. Oh, self-care is very important, and they're talking about beauty routine, they're talking about spa dates, they're talking about, things to do to just look that touche and prim and proper. So to me, I felt like, oh, maybe it's just something that is meant for the rich. And I didn't even put the health part of it. So to me, self-care was just limited to the beauty part of it, where how beautiful do you look when you step out?
Glass skin.
Glass skin. That's why I started with skincare, that my own self-care is firstly to apply my sunscreen and ensure that UV rays don't turn me to tomato and what I'm not supposed to look like. But now, with this introduction that you've read, I've seen that self-care is beyond just how pretty somebody appears to be in the public, but your health as well. Do you understand? So it's like a full, total package, and I think that's one myth that I've been able to debunk.
That's wonderful. Try.
Okay, so just like what Oluchi said, I used to believe, or I did not actually think about it, so hard, what self-care is, self-care, and then I narrow it down to skincare, So I just felt like just taking care of your body. Although one thing that I always, that I have always, wanted people to know, especially with ladies or people who do skincare, is that skincare is not just about your face or your body, the part that you can see, that you can touch, the one that looks very attractive, but every other part of your body is very important. That's the only thing that I used to preach. But definitely not, your health, definitely not the awareness. Some people do not understand what goes on in their body, what to eat, what to do, how to carry yourself. Some people don't know that there's some kind of work that they shouldn't do if you know that you're actually going to take care of yourself. Because if you know how you're using your body, your strength, just know that that work you're doing might not eventually pay you at the end of the day. Because you are actually not taking care of yourself. You are not taking care of yourself. So I think this is something that people should be enlightened about. Because self-care is beyond just skin care, just the facial and then your hand, just like Oluchi's sunscreen.
Okay, girls, beauty.
I feel like at this point, it's more like I'm going to be repeating what Lucci and Triumph has said. But I mean, just like, the both of them have said already, self-care used to be like, oh, it's about your cream, even though there are certain things that I feel like certain persons already know. Like, I will tell anybody anytime. I'm always very cautious, and I'm very careful when I want to, get a cream because I don't want to look brighter than my future. But you know what that means, exactly. It's for everybody that's close to me. I say that a lot. I'm always very concerned. What exactly are you giving me? What am I using? Because, again, I don't want to look brighter than my future.
Stop saying that word. I'm just going to crack up here.
But that's one part, right? Then I'm always very concerned about what I take into my body, and I'm talking about alcohol. Now, I remember when I was quite younger, I used to, you see those shisha, all of those things. I used to be part of those persons that take that. Again, it used to be that secondary school vibes and unique kind of thing. But then I think there was one time that I took shisha, a day before, before work, and I was going to work. I noticed that I could not, like, my voice was out, I was coughing, I was everything, I was not feeling myself. And it was at that point that I understand that this thing is not good for me. So it might be okay for every other person, but it's not okay for me. Any small stress, my voice, so till, and you know how unique my voice is. So I'm always very concerned about what exactly I put into my mouth and all of that. And I think there was also one time I got food somewhere that actually just scattered my whole body. Everybody was not thinking I was pregnant. That's also one of the reasons I stopped buying food outside. So you see, all of this thing has just stopped me. I've just been able to learn with experiences. So certain things that happen to me, I just say, this one is not working for me, and I stop doing it. So I think now, I like the fact that we are talking about this topic, so that we're able to create that awareness, and people should be more careful and cautious about what they take into their body and how important it actually is. So, yeah.
Do you know one thing I love about God's Beauty is how she says, I'm going to repeat what somebody has said, but then she says something entirely different. It means that the ideas are just right there in your head, and you might just think you're saying the same thing. But now, what Triumph and you have said, different from what Oluchi have said now, is that there's some things that don't work for you, right? And some people believe that allergies does not exist. Right?
Sure.
If you tell somebody that I'm allergic to this, hey, I just bought her from where? From where? Nepo baby?
Nepo baby. It's a Nigerian mindset.
I agree, actually.
Sometimes there's certain things that you take that don't work for your body. There's some things that you apply on your skin. I can apply papaya oil. It might be generally healthy, but I might do that and it will make me darker. And if I tell you, do you know papaya oil makes me dark? Nepo baby. We just papa. It's coconut. In fact, from the roots, that's what we. So one thing I liked that you highlighted is first, allergies exist both externally and internally. But that's to ask that. What's that one thing that would, how would I put it? What's that one thing that should always go into your body, right? That is not, would I say, allergic to the general public? Let's say the most population. What's that thing that should always, in your daily routine, that should always go into your body? Should I say water? Okay. What about you?
It has to be water as well. Because I realized that there was a time I wasn't taking enough water. I used to think that I take a lot of water. Sometimes I use the illustration of I drink water like a camel. So camels are people who, the illustration is that they take water a lot, but they take it very slowly, and they can take it for a very long time. I felt like I was that kind of person till I realized that I wasn't. And there are ways that you can find out that you're not taking enough water. From your urine, you realize that there's something wrong. I am not as hydrated as I should. Also from my voice, as somebody who uses her voice a whole lot, I realized that at a point it became raspy. I think maybe because it's not the fluid,
should not push it down.
Yes, and also the kind of water too. We're in a very hot country,
Right.
So that cold water is calm to your thirsty soul in this terrible hot country. Not hot, not terrible. So cold water too seemed like the best option. recently I had to withdraw myself from taking cold water and all of those kind of things that damage me, because you have that first satisfaction of, oh my God, I feel so much relief, but at the end of the day you realize that it's causing much more harm to you. So to
Have
me,
you drank cold water on empty stomach before? It will go and now loud on your intestine and suppress it.
I haven't done that.
Yeah,
I haven't tried that.
I don't think I want to.
Especially after a daily hustle.
Okay, before I ask Triumph our own, perspective, let's go and breathe. Let's go and take water. We'll drink water and drop cup and come back. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Come back, we are still talking about self-care, and we're looking at ways where self-care should be important to us all. And I really want to hear from Trump. What's that one thing, like Oluchi mentioned water, Gosbiti also mentioned water. Would you agree, same, or you have a different opinion?
Water.
Juicy
Water
cup.
is
And maybe
just
fruit. I don't know.
water and fruit. However,
Somebody that just said fruit. Which time you take fruit, girls?
No, I thought
open you up.
something
let-
that is
let-
general
let
for
her answer
everybody.
first.
I just think it's water. If we talk about fruit, some people don't take it.
Which is actually very bad. You get
But
it?
then I want to talk about fruits because everybody mentioned water,
Yeah,
but
fruits.
fruits is
It's very
like
important, actually.
in the top important things. Fruits exist as a second after water,
After water.
and then there are other ways that you can be hydrated, healthy, like in a healthy way. Watermelon, for example, is very, very
I think they said
hydrating.
70% water.
It's very,
No, it's
very
cucumber
hydrating.
that's 70% water.
You can get filled, you understand, just by eating enough watermelon. It will keep you hydrated, keep you full, and also help with digestion. And so there are many benefits that fruit have other than water. Water, naturally, they'll say will take out toxins, will take out this, will take out that. But there's also the role
Helps
that
with other things.
fruits play there. So this is just telling you, Triumph, to start taking fruits. Because when you talk about fruits, it's like, maybe not me. That's not really my thing. It's not my style.
Would you permit me to, if I say that I don't like watermelon, for example, this 70% water.
Don't worry.
So what fruit
Don't
do you
worry.
like? What fruit do you like? Let's start with that.
Orange.
So why
Yeah.
do you like orange?
Sweet. Watermelon is not sweet.
So you're only
not
taking
sweet
orange.
Orange is not
These
sweet.
are the issues.
I'm sorry.
Does banana and granite count as fruit? Or
Banana and
and
granite.
that's also is it
It's
part
a
of
look
fruit?
for me there.
Because I'm an Igbo
Dear
girl.
viewers, I need to do a disclaimer here.
Oh, wow.
Some things that are said on this table should not be taken seriously. For example, somebody who wants to eat banana
And
and
granola.
granola. Let me tell you something. If you want to take this thing in the healthy way, normally you're only supposed, that pack of granules that you'll be doing, or the way you'll be choking the banana and eating with the granule, you're actually supposed to take nothing more than 10 pieces of granules in a day, because granule
Yeah.
has high calorie intake. And if you don't even know how much calorie you're supposed to be taking in per day, you will overeat and still affect your body.
Well, that's if you're trying to reduce the calorie count. I'm trying to increase my calorie count.
Do you know
so I
if-
don't think I have a
wait,
problem
do you
with
know if
100
you're-
naira
wait.
granules now.
Wait, do you know?
fingers
Do
of
you
banana.
know
Oh my God.
with your body, your intestines, your kidney, do you know how much calorie you should be taking per day?
Yes, I do.
Even if you want to add weight, it should be that you are adding and healthy weight, not just because you think that if you eat enough you add weight, because that can also affect your kidney. You can start having kidney stones or enlarged liver. Something can happen when you think that you're actually eating healthy to become something. You might be affecting something else. That's why I'm asking you, stop chopping granite and banana.
You buy fruits. Banana is a fruit, right?
How many
granite is nuts?
So let us blend
Everything together. I mean, that's proper fruit.
Fruit and nuts.
Wouldn't you prefer that to sugar?
How many bananas would you eat at a go?
So there are different kinds of. There's a Yoruba banana and there's the Igbo banana.
Madam, can you answer the question? How many bananas?
Yoruba banana is so short that it's really not filling. I don't know how they produce, but I see that Igbo one that is really long, very shiny.
Green,
I can take like 5, 6 with let's say 40 pieces, 40 pieces, stones of granite. I'm good.
Right.
I'm good. That's
You're good for
snack.
the whole day.
No, that's snack now.
People
you
of God.
you guys, stop
It is
it. It's snack. Then later,
That is a snack.
Yes.
So when will you eat the real food?
2 hours after that.
How many times will you eat
Oh
food
my God.
after that
How many
snack?
times? You ought to eat 3 times a day. So let's say I eat
You
in the
ought?
morning. Yes, I take bread and egg in the morning, and in the afternoon, before I take my proper food, I can take my banana and granules.
Again.
The 5.
Yes, the 5 long finger of
Long
banana.
emphasis on the long.
And then maybe take my spaghetti in the afternoon and take my, no, not about tea at night.
See, this.
Oh my
I will
God.
not say anything.
It's not
At this
deniable for
point,
me.
that's why I said that this conversation is going to start bringing out, and I'm sure that our viewers too will be thinking about their own self-care routine and be like, I'm on now, like this girl I did for table. But let me tell you guys, this is not the right way to go. You have to be very conscious of your calorie intake. Don't be like Oluchi. She's the perfect example.
Don't I look healthy
what-
with the banana and granules?
And this is the outward appearance that we are trying to
Internally,
change.
my
The
doctor
narrative we are
says
trying
I'm
to
good.
change. How do you know your intestines are good? When last did you do tests? Full
I
body
was sick
checkup.
recently now.
When last did you do a full body checkup? Hold it
ever
there.
done a full body
Have you ever done a full body checkup
I have. In school.
in school?
Yes.
How many years ago?
I mean, I
Since
just graduated. Bro, I did
What do you
recently.
think? When last did you do a full body checkup? Tell
Okay,
me.
so it's been long, and I would say in school as well.
You people that graduated, how many?
When last you do full body
I
checkup?
have the test results here, 2023.
That's 2 years
just
ago.
years.
That's
I
So
still
we are
have another
literally
one
the
for
same-
2025. I can show you. Do you want evidence? Would you like some evidence?
Don't bother.
Try and what about you? Let everybody in Yash be open in the public.
When I was in school, and I didn't.
Why is he everybody saying in school?
Because that was you know they mandated us
Yeah,
to
to
do.
do it.
So if it's not
Exactly.
mandatory in school, people will not do it to even enter
They say us
school.
will not graduate if we don't have our
don't
medical. No, they
graduate.
literally
Yes,
threatened us
your
with it. If you don't have your full medical report, you wouldn't.
See,
wow.
Thankfully.
I know that very soon we'll be wrapping up this conversation, but very importantly, body checkups are very, very key
I agree.
to anything that you want to be. Sometimes the kind of drugs that will be prescribed to you, you can't tell the doctor immediately that, oh no, I don't, ibuprofen is too harsh on me. This is doesn't work for me. I have a test, to back that. So it's very important that we know what happens internally. It's very easy for us to see wound and say, okay, we care for it, but one of the leading cause of a lot of death is things that happen internally that we don't know about. And part of taking care of these things is to ensure that we take in the things that are required, and we also cut down on certain things. For example, you don't eat 5 long shiny bananas at once. You have to be able
Igbo
to
bananas.
portion control is very important also. Portion control is part of self-care. Not overeating is part of self-care. Eating properly is part of self-care. Dieting is part of self-care. Maybe intermittent fasting. No, you can't wait till 12 before eating. You have to eat right. Can somebody tell my director to stop telling me what he's eating at the back end? But then self-care is very important. And I think that one of the challenges I've seen over time is the fact that people don't know what happens until it happens. We see a lot of kidney issues, kidney transplants happening. Try and to say something.
Yes, there was one thing that I want to say, that would help all of us. And it is the belief that, especially for people like us, that we don't have body. We are not more than the way we are. We are the ones that are quick to think that there is nothing wrong with us. I once heard the doctor say something like, these are the set of people that should actually look into themselves, because what is wrong with you is not even showing.
Right.
You
How
can't
much you
see
precious
it.
to make?
You can't see
Nothing
it.
is wrong with me, baby.
You should pay more attention to yourself, regardless of however you look, regardless of your kind of size, shape, look, whether you're glowing or not glowing, whether you're like me or you're not like me. The most important thing is that you should actually be aware. One of the types of self-care is, aside self-testing, is self-awareness. That is, you are aware of what goes on in your body. So that was what I wanted to
What I was
mention.
going to impute also is that our body actually speaks to us. And that's something I try to listen to as well. If you look at your body, maybe check one time you had an injury. How long did it take for that injury to heal? If you realize that later on it's taking longer to heal, there's probably something wrong. And these are things that we might most likely just overlook because we're busy just applying bandage or putting spirit on, oh, we'll be fine, we'll be better, and all of that. You can also check your breathing. I know you mentioned something about breathing. There was a time I realized that, okay, let me give you the story, very, very short. I used to be a very, very fast runner in school. I mean, sprint was my best sport because I would represent my school and I would do exceedingly well. Then all of a sudden, I got weak. And it's not because I added weight. I just felt, my teacher used to say it was air trap or something. So I feel so tired after just running a short distance. And that's what, even till now, that's why I've stopped running. Do you understand? And then I realized as well that if I've just done a few rigorous exercise, my knee starts to pain me. So that's already a prompter. I'm not old, so I'm not supposed to be experiencing this. But it's quick for you to dismiss it as I had a very stressful day. Do you understand? So I think if we listen very well to our body, they speak to us. The color of your eyes speaks to you. You say, if you start having chapped lips, there's something wrong. You need to have moisturized lips. Don't say, it's just Harmattan. So I think if we pay attention to all of this and always, like you mentioned, have regular checkups, we'll be fine.
So I think that we have all highlighted different ways that we could care for our body, from foods to water to checkups, to just being self-aware, just like Tram mentioned, and all of these things. I think if we really put it together, it would take you out of the hospital more times than you think.
Yes.
And if you listen to your body, if you have a headache, your body is telling you something, you can easily trace it that something must have happened somewhere along the line that you did not pay attention to. Your body speaks to you every time. If your heart is beating faster than usual, maybe without running, your body is telling you something. If you feel that you are suddenly bloated and you don't know what is going on, your body is telling you something. If you feel like you eat 5 wraps of eba and you're still not full, something is wrong somewhere. If you see that, why are you laughing?
Because how do you go full for 5 rounds?
If you see that maybe you don't urinate frequently, or when you want to urinate, before you get to the toilet, it drops before you get there, something is wrong. You have to keep,
Told us also check our urine. And
yes,
our
what's the
stool.
color of your urine? What's the color of your stool? All this is telling you something. Some people will say, you can't look at your own stool, but it was stored in your body for God knows when. So it's just only right for you to look at it and know what seems normal or what doesn't seem normal, especially for women, where our body is our body determines a lot of things that happens to us. If you are getting fat suddenly, it could be signs of PCOS, it could be signs of, ovulation, period, it could be many things, but being self-aware and always going back to what information can I get to be enlightened about what I don't understand will always help us to be able to find that self-awareness. Technology has made things easy. Even sometimes I've been seeing this trend on Google, on the internet, where they say if you want to ask Google that I'm having a headache, what's wrong with me? Then they put this Adele song, this is the end. It's almost like Google will tell you that it's over for you.
You bring
don't
answers that you just feel like, I'm done.
3
This
days
life.
Exactly. So sometimes maybe proper prompt will help you just be able to filter the kind of information, and do not lie to yourself. Sometimes you have a very bad headache, and then when you go online, because you're starting to highlight certain problems, you start to say, God forbid, it's not me, or then you start to be in the dululu, telling yourself that it's not that deep. Sometimes
But
it
rather
is
than
that
just,
deep.
I'm sorry to
Early
interrupt, rather than
detection.
just random prompts on ChatGPT or Google to check symptoms, I think there are what they call it mobile medical doctors right now. I think those are even better. If at all you want to use technology to get it, because I really don't subscribe
I
to
saw
Google
something
and
on
ChatGPT.
PalmPay. You can actually pay 15 naira per month to get free medical advice. You just have to chat with a doctor.
Yes,
and it's
chat
just
with a
15
doctor.
naira. So
Because I was about to ask too that, you know, I was about to ask us, you know, if people are watching, people that are watching us right now, we talked about, you know, self-awareness. What's the best, who and what, or what platform is the best to go?
I've said, for example, PalmPay has this this list of what they call them, insurance companies where they have medical extension. So you pay 15 naira, you pay 100 naira per month, depending on what you want to do to get, you know, medical free telemedicine. They can prescribe for you. You can tell them your symptoms. You can have these conversations. You could go to the traditional insurance companies to go straight, but the reason why I'm highlighting PalmPay is because that's what I use, and it has sort of reduced the cost of 100 naira per month to get all the information and chat with a doctor. Is
Flow
the
app
best
also
way.
helps with
Flow app,
understanding of
yes,
the women's
your body, yes.
Even
If
though
you-
they will warn you that this is not a very authoritative one, still go back to your doctor.
But then it
gives
gives
an
you
understanding.
information about what to do. So there are resources everywhere. Free Flow app is very free to use, and is also very informative. There are also videos that you can watch from verified dietitians, pediatrics, where they will tell you that, okay, this. But when you start to see these certain signs, or if this symptom persists after 3 days, you should go to a hospital. But then that sort of reduces needing the healthcare facilities at this point, because if you know that after 3 days, I just have to wait 3 days, I just have to do this routine consistently for 1 week and then see what the result is. Then if it doesn't get better, I go to the hospital. That's cost effective, if I would say.
Yeah.
And then if you get to the hospital, you can directly tell the doctor that, okay, I stayed for 10 days. This was what I was able to do during these 10 days. This was a drug I used during these 10 days. And then the doctor can now properly inform you on whether you just need to stay an extra 2 days, or you need to do a scan, a test. But either way, it has reduced whatever it is that you want to do at that healthcare facility. It's different from walking in and doctor say, what's wrong with you? I don't know. How is it doing you? He's paining me here. For how long? I don't even know. This would confuse the doctor and also put in more cost for you, because the doctor is wondering what's wrong with this person. Okay, let's test for the jaw, let's test for the body, and then you do like 10 tests, you realize that
you'll pay
nothing
money for all of them.
You pay money for all of them.
everything.
So self-awareness will help you know that, okay, this pain has been existing in my stomach for 5 days. The doctor can easily tell that the left side, you also have to know, is it the left or the right side? You can easily tell the doctor it's been on the right side, you know, for the longest, and then they can tell you that, okay, when it's happening on the left, it could be ulcer, it could be this, it could be that. So either way, self-awareness encompasses of knowing everything that you need to do to actually reduce going to the hospital. The hospital is not cheap. Let me just tell you, in case you don't know. Public hospitals, private hospitals are not cheap. But basically, as we conclude today's discussion on self-care, it's very clear that this vital component can play a significant role in reducing the healthcare pressure in Nigeria. And by prioritizing self-care, we can take control of our health, reduce reliance on the healthcare system, and improve our overall well-being. We hope that this conversation has inspired you to prioritize your own self-care and encourage you to explore the many resources available to support your journey. So thank you, Oluchi. Thank you, God's Beauty. And of course, triumph. We really triumph over this conversation. So yes, and to our viewers, God bless you. Remember to follow us on our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV and all our social media platforms. We'll see you again tomorrow for our book review. God bless you and bye-bye.